It's called the Porsche 917. And even if you have no interest in motorsport, you'll most likely recognize this machine, because it's quite possibly the most iconic racing car ever created. Now today, Porsche is the most successful car maker ever to race at Le Mans. They have 19 victories to their name. But this is the car that started it all. This is the car that gave them that all-important first win. Now, obviously, with a pedigree like that, it's quite valuable, around £14 million. So when we asked the insurers if this would be okay, they said yes, but not the accident-prone little midget. It must be Captain Slowly. So let's see if I can make this thing live for you. The first thing you need to know is that although the 917 looks like a big, wide car, actually, it isn't. Ow. I'm in. God, it's tiny. Holy mother! The bracket is just astonishing. Imagine this for a 24-hour race. Even though it's a 50-year-old car, the 917 is fast by the standards of any decade. 0 to 60, 2.7 seconds. Top speed, 224 miles an hour. And it was built without compromise, using the absolute bare minimum of materials. So, for example, this bodywork, which is very close to my head, it's fiberglass, 1.2 millimeters thick. That's it. Now, in front of me, I have a big rev counter, an oil temperature gauge, and an oil pressure gauge. That's all the information you get. If those are reading correctly, that means the engine isn't going to blow up, and that means you can pin it. Gee! It's the world's fastest canoe! The 5-litre 12-cylinder engine produces 621 horsepower, which is modest by the standards of today's road-going hypercars. But this thing weighs just 800 kilograms. As a result, the power to weight is off the scale! Bloody hell, this is special. I'm amazed Porsche let me drive it at all. I mean, they didn't give me any training. They just put me in and said, pulls this and turns that, and you'll be fine. What's more amazing than that, actually, is that this car exists at all, because its gestation was, let's say, it was quite difficult. The story of its birth starts in 1968, when the governing body for sports car racing, alarmed that the top-end unregulated prototype cars were becoming too fast, too expensive and too dangerous, decreed that such machines should have engines no larger than 3 litres. However, the governing body also said that if you could build 25 road-going versions of your racing car, that engine limit would be raised to 5 litres. Although secretly they knew that no small sports car manufacturer could actually afford to do that. They didn't think there'd be any takers. What they hadn't reckoned on was Porsche's head of motorsport, Ferdinand Piëch. Back then, Porsche was a tiny, cash-starved outfit, nothing like the prosperous company we know today. But Piëch was so consumed with scoring an outright win at Le Mans that he decided he was going to build those 25 cars, even though the next Le Mans was only a few months away. So everybody, and I do mean everybody, the accountants, managers, office juniors, secretaries, they were all hauled away from their desks to go down to the production line and work on getting those cars ready. They actually became known as the secretary cars. The ragtag Porsche team just made the deadline, and the motorsport inspectors gave the road cars the sign-off, presumably not inspecting them too closely, or they would have noticed that most of them had truck axles.
With the green light given for Porsche to enter the Le Mans race, Sjekk got to work getting some cars ready in time. Now, on the plus side, they were blindingly fast. One car clocked 238 on the Mulsanne straight.
On the downside, though, they were terrifyingly unstable and virtually undrivable.
The drivers simply didn't know what the car was going to do next. There was so much chassis flex that the gear lever would move around all over the place. They'd make a gear change, put their hand there the next time, and it'd be somewhere else.
Sjekk hoped for a big win at the 1969 Le Mans race, but it was a disaster. One of the privately entered cars crashed on lap 1, killing its driver. The others broke down as the race wore on, until just one remained, driven by this man, British driver Dickie Attwood.
Difficult would be putting it mildly. Life-threatening could be another one.
Right.
It was a monster. It was made for speed, like a bullet to go through the air, but there wasn't enough pressure on the bodywork to keep it on the ground. And so the faster you went, the more unstable it was. It was so horrendous, I was waiting, hopefully, that the car would break. And eventually it did. But it was 21 hours before it broke. We were 6 laps in the lead, so we hadn't got far to go. But I was happy the car broke.
Undeterred, Porsche hired British race engineer John Wyer, who'd helped to develop the Ford GT40, to sort out the 917's evil handling. And he cracked the problem, with a little help from Mother Nature. After one really long test session, Wyer and his drivers noticed that although the front of the car was absolutely plastered in dead bugs, there were none here on the rear wing, which must have meant the air wasn't flowing over it, and it wasn't producing any downforce, and it wasn't pressing the car down into the track. Having reworked the aerodynamics of their problem child, Porsche arrived at the 1970 Le Mans race with renewed hope, and Dickie Attwood once more at the wheel. During the race, the 917s were blisteringly fast, as ever. But this time, mercifully, they were much more stable. And although heavy rain claimed victim after victim, Attwood and the 917 took the checkered flag and gave Porsche their first ever outright win at Le Mans. It was a win they badly needed because they had, quite literally, gambled the company on it. But it's also true to say that this car nearly broke Porsche as well, didn't it? Because they were a very small company.
It did. Again, it was Ferdinand Sjekk, and he was a guy who was quite extreme. He was so enthused to do what he's done that nearly broke the company. It did. Yeah, the racing program nearly destroyed Porsche.
From then on, there was no stopping the 917, as it set about building its own legend. The following year at Le Mans, on the way to another crushing victory, it would go through the speed traps at over 241 miles an hour, a record that stood for more than 20 years. And in that same race, it was so fast it would cover a total of 3,315 miles, a distance record that would stand until 2010. And if that wasn't enough, Hollywood's greatest petrolhead, Steve McQueen, came to Le Mans and made the 917 a screen icon. And now, since the legend is celebrating its 50th birthday, I think it deserves a fun day out. So I thought, why don't we put Mr. Dickie Attwood back in it to stretch its legs a bit and spice things up? And whilst he's there, let's see how the old legend, I mean the car, stacks up against a modern Porsche. Specifically this Porsche, the 911 GT2 RS, the biggest gun in Porsche's current arsenal. Now, attentive viewers will have noticed that I'm not actually driving, and that's because I've decided to do this properly. We're going to have old Porsche Le Mans winning racing driver versus young Porsche Le Mans winning racing driver, because this is Neil Yanni, and he won for Porsche in 2016 in the 919. To be honest, he's also probably a bit better at this than I am. As for the cars themselves, on paper, it's a tough one to call. We have 700 horsepower in here, 621 horsepower in the 917. But the 917 weighs just 800 kilograms. This weighs 1,830 kilograms. It's over a ton heavier. But then again, we've got modern tyres and we've got modern brakes and we have a modern gearbox with paddles. So, I mean, God knows. Let's find out. What I hadn't considered in my comparisons was Dickie. Whoa, cheeky. Look how bloody fast he's going. The man's a lunatic, he's 78.
He's going quick, huh? Carrying a massive amount of speed into the corner.
Here we go. Have it! So the red mist has descended again after a pause of nearly half a century, and Mr. Atwood has gone quite mad. Oh yes, this could be it. Yes! Oh no! Oh, he's had you! Well, you can't quite outbrake him because you're too heavy. But in the end, youth and modern rubber triumph over the flat hat. Oh, we're all over his tent. Here we go. Oh, ho, ho. Yes. Nicely done, sir.
Lucky, I can keep my job.
Yeah, I think you can keep your job.